about to get started, and I'm gonna knock it down to 5.5. It's gonna be the speed we're gonna move at, real slow. And like I said, if you're a beginner, it's best to start with your lightest tone. So we're gonna start with the lightest and rally, start scraping it against. You see how it's slowly going on there, but you're moving real slow, barely tapping. And you're going to go with the direction of your object. As if you were doing like hair or something, you'll go with the direction of that hair. If you're smoothing out a cheek on the face, a jaw, you're going to smooth it out and go with the direction of it. That's the best way to do. You don't want to just make your shade super flat across the whole surface. You want to give it some kind of dimension, some kind of depth to it. Because if it's just super flat, you know, what's the purpose? Alright, we see that there? We don't need the rest of the circle because, you know, I could kind of see it, but y'all don't want to wipe off your stencil. You're going to want to let it sit a little while if you're still a beginner. So I can just go ahead and make the circle back with the shade. And keep that going, that circular motion. Make sure when you're using your shades, start off with your lightest if you're just starting. And move like with the direction of the item or the subject. By this being a sphere, it's circular and curved, so I'm gonna go back and forward lightly with a curved motion, not just a flat back and forward. I'm gonna go with that curve. And we're going to keep on going the back and forth motion. We're going to start working our way up. Because we're going to work our way up with the light, and then we're going to come back to the bottom with our dark. And we're going to see how easy it is to blend them in. We're going to keep on going on that curve. The light going to be at this corner, so we're going to get super light right towards that corner. And just using the light, you can already kind of see what a dark's at, where it's going to be at its lightest, stuff like that. You know, one of the name of the game is patience, so you just got to move slow, lightly tapping, going into the direction of your subject. Be patient. You're just gonna keep on working it in there. Like I said, that's why you gotta be patient. You gotta build it up. Slowly but surely keep moving in the same direction, giving it that round pattern, direction of the shading. and slightly hitting it. You see, I'm still on my first shade. As you all see, I'm still on my lightest shade, but it still looks darker at the bottom. We didn't even come back with our mid-tones. So we're just gonna keep hitting it with the light. And that's why I said this is a good way for beginners to start off, because there's no way you can really mess it up. Because once you go too dark, you can't go back. You stuck at a dark location now. You know what I'm saying? The tattoo just too dark, so there's no way to lighten your tattoo up. And that's why I say it's easy to start with your lights, because we only still at our lights. Because once you go too dark, you can't go back, so it's best to start with your lights and start building up your darks on top. Valid tapping. Slightly hitting it. It may feel like you're not doing nothing, but best believe me, that needle is putting in the work for you. You ain't gotta do much at all. The needle gonna do the work. So just glide your hand slightly. And the next important part is your machine speed. Your machine speed. Like I said, this is at 5.5. So it's moving slow. So all I gotta do is slightly match my hand with it and move slow. Because if I was moving too fast, I wouldn't be getting no smooth shading. It's just gonna be hitting and looking all patchy. And I'm currently using a 7 curve mag. Really, with the size of this ball that I made, it would normally be like a 14 round shade or something, or a 5 curve mag, because this is itty bitty. Keep tabbing it up. Like I said, the needle gonna do the work for you. You see your ass dark at the bottom, and if your light tone not light enough, make sure you all get. Remember, this is not our darkest, so we can continue to build up with this medium tone, but we know we're not gonna go as high. We're only gonna go towards the middle of the spear, because we want that top to be light. We could go around these edges, because that's really going to be our darkest. So that's starting to look. Okay, y'all, we just started with our medium tone. You see how it look way more dark at the bottom, and now that gradients fall off. So we're gonna add some more in there. Let's rinse out in our own water. And now we're gonna go back into the light and give a dab into the water. And see if we get even more lighter than what's up there. Like I said, you might not see no ink on there, but best believe they got some ink on there. Real light, just tap it. You see how it's built up, real light. Like I said, just be patient. That ink is on there. You see how it's building up, right? And I'm just basically about to smooth out all our lights, basically with water, you know. And this is real light. We barely got a little ink on here. Light is light. And that even look dark, huh? Well, that's our lightest light we got. But you see, it look curved though, right? Okay, now we about to hit with our darkest tone. Okay, now that's how we look with our darkest down. Keep slowly working it in there, because you want that smooth gradients. Well, it just look like a marble, you know, where it's real smooth. And it's easy for us to do this because this is a small surface and a little big needle. But you know, you start off small practicing, and then of course you're gonna grow into the bigger tattoos. Okay, y'all see where we at now? We about to add some more lights, slowly building up that gradients, so we don't really have no lines between our tones, and it's just completely smooth. And we're slightly tapping it. You ain't gotta be digging in the skin or none of that to get some smooth shade. I don't know if I told y'all, I'll just be kind of, you know, going back and forth. Sometimes I'll use a circular motion, but we're not really packing color or anything. I'm just kind of going with the flow with the circle of this object. Boom. See, it's getting lighter as it goes up. Now I'm about to go straight back in the water and just go all the way light as possible. Sometimes I put out 2 rinse cups when I'm actually tattooing, because once your first cup get a little medium tone in it, a little dark, that water eventually gonna automatically have a tone to it. We about to slightly build this up real light. We're gonna even add our shadow on here. And we're gonna do it probably mostly with just the water. So check us out. Make sure when you want to clean your fake skin off, all you need is just the Vaseline, and boom. Look how that cleaned up. Just Vaseline. Okay, now we about to add our light shadow, which if the light will be coming from here, the shadow will most likely be poking out on this side. We're gonna lightly tap that shadow in there. And y'all see the difference what I'm doing? Because this shadow basically is sitting on the ground or sitting on a surface. So I'm going back and forward to make it flat, where that surface is flat, you know. The ball is round. So we want to make that surface flat. And you see for the shadow, I'm going back and forward with a flat, just to make the surface flat. I'm not adding no direction to it because I want the surface that the ball is sitting on to be flat. You want the ball to look three-dimensional, sit up off the surface. Lightly tapping it back and forth. Let that needle put in this work, you know. It's gonna build up. Cast more of that shadow. I know sometimes when that light hit the ball right there, but also around that rim, it'd be a little more crisp. Just to show that separation that's on that outer edge. Y'all let me know, I ain't done yet. I still have to add that dark. I ain't got a black, but I'm gonna use my dark that we got out. And we're gonna add that crispy edge. And this time I'm gonna take a liner and I'm gonna hit the edge with the darkest dark. So for the last part, I'm gonna take a liner and hit the edge right up in here with our darkest dark, just to give it that most separation from the surface. That will help it, you know, keeping that crisp edge will help it pop up from the surface and it don't get lost in the shadow. And remember, this is not too dark, so if this was on real skin, once it heals, it will actually heal up lighter than that. Okay, so now I'm about to just go into the lightest light and I'm gonna crispen up the top edge. You know, just sharpen it up there. Cause that sharpness matter. But barely tapping, you ain't gotta make a line. You just barely tap and knock a little smooth shade up in there. And this is a 3-round line, I believe, that I'm using. Yep. And just barely tapping up in there. You don't want no hard lines. You want it to be nice and smooth. You can take the same and hit this edge if you want to sharpen it up. I know a lot of people don't go back and sharpen up their work, but it's definitely a nice thing to do. The right thing to do, actually, if you want your tattoos lasting longer. Okay, so we just sharpened up some of the shadow as well with the liner and the top. You see how that help it stand away from that background? Let's wipe it with our own A&D ointment and let's see our final product. Make sure you rub it down. Rub it down and take one paper towel, wipe it off. And that's gonna clean it up real nice for you. Y'all let me know what y'all think. What kind of videos y'all wanna see next. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day.